Hey, what's going on at Shit Talk Reviews? I'm John. In the room with me, David and Derek. Hi, how are you?
John, thank you for having
that
us.
good. That
Splendid.
good.
Hey, listen, I don't talk publicly on social media and all that shit about life, but yeah, life has been, for me, I'm in a rut. I've had a lot of really rotten shit happening, and then listening to Patriarchs in Black, visioning, it's doomy. It's dark, melancholy, and it fit my life over the last month, and so I powered through, and I'm here.
Yeah.
So I got my muscles. I'm down 15 pounds. But I'm here.
Hey, listen. Congratulations on adulting as successfully as one can, given the challenges that life sometimes throws at you.
That's right.
I applaud you. I know it's not easy, and as I mentioned to you the other day, the sun will rise again. It'll probably just be a few days before you see it.
Well, I
said,
appreciate
John.
that.
And remember, Derek, you're surrounded by people who love you, brother.
I'm aware, and
Most
I
of the
appreciate
time.
that. Yeah, but the sunshine that I'm interested in is a one marked sunshine.
Yeah.
So
Nice
we're talking
segue.
about Patriarchs in Black, the visioning record. I feel like this is the second record we've talked about in the last year. Amazing how quickly Dan and Johnny are able to pump these out. But let's get into it.
This is number 3 for them, right? Third full length album. Anyway, My Veneration.
Yes, sir, John.
Reach for the Scars, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. You had to ask a question that I didn't know the answer off the top of my head, because My Veneration for me has been, the ivory tower, the star in the sky. And so for visioning, getting into this, they had to really follow up. It was a lot of work. That record was really, really good. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, I liked it too. I think it had some Sabbath, to me, a lot of Sabbath on it, and I'm a huge Sabbath fan. And it had so much tone, dark tones of Sabbath, and Johnny Kelly's Johnny, right? It's just phenomenal drummer, and I like the ambiance. But overall, Derek, I thought it was very good, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. Like the other albums, it's an easy listen. J-Rod did a great mix on it again. Dan's tones are really good. He did some cool little trick stuff in there. He did some cool harmony lines that I really got into. Made some guitar moves on this album that I didn't hear on My Veneration or Scars. So I dug that. It's enjoyable. And look, I'm not going to lie. We've come to know Dan over the years, and now Johnny a bit as well. And, I count them as friends of ours.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's hard not to get excited when people you like do fun, cool stuff. And this is a great example of that. And the other albums, sorry, man, like with the other albums, they brought us a smorgasbord of people to come and work on this record. And I think it's cool in that regard that, what Dan and Johnny are doing in terms of, putting a platform out there for a bunch of cool musicians to come and work on. I dig that.
Well said, John. And I just want to add, and I hope if Dan, when he listens to this, he takes this the right way, because it's a compliment. Dan, over the course of these albums, more so on the last 2 albums, is starting to have a distinctive sound about his playing. I now can listen to Patriarchs and immediately know that's Dan Lorenzo. To me, that's a compliment. And I hope he takes it as that, because he's got a distinctive sound now, Dan. He's honed his sound, really.
I really do feel like Patriarchs in Black is a love letter to Black Sabbath. Visioning is a love letter to Black Sabbath. A thank you. You inspired us. Let us travel down different angles and avenues with different tones and different voices. And but it's grounded in foundationally in Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Ozzy Osbourne. That's what I hear here, and Bill Ward. I will say that I thought that My Veneration was a more technical record. I thought that the songs were a little bit more complex. I'm not going to say that this record was rushed, but as a friend to Dan, I would say maybe slow down to speed up, because there could have been some opportunities to explore different angles with each of these tracks. But that's not to say that the record is poor or anything like that. But I did think My Veneration was just had a little bit more depth for me. And I'm not putting down the record at all. And
That's
you know, interestingly enough, I now having dove deep into these two records, and this again isn't taking anything away from the very large assortment of musicians that are involved with Patriarchs in Black, but I would like to see Mark Sunshine, Johnny, and Dan put out a 5-song EP. I'd like to see Karl Agell, Johnny, Agell, I apologize, Agell and Dan really explore a 5-song EP and awesome. Dig into it, because the chemistry with those guys is undeniable. It's not to take anything away from, you know, Kelly Abe or DMC or anybody else, but I want to hear those EPs explored and flushed out together. That's Johnny, me as a fan. I'd love to hear that.
I think Johnny mentioned that on his pod. Did he not say that the chemistry was there with him? And he mentioned that. So it's a great point, Derek.
I think he said that their voices match Dan's writing, and he's not wrong. I mean, he's Johnny Kelly. He's been in a lot of bands. He's been around. And again, I'm not taking anything away from all the other artists that have contributed, because the record's great. You know, Rob Traynor. I heard some Crowbar on Heart of Spite. It's heavy. It's great. But I would like to see a thought or a pattern or the chemistry be explored in multiple songs on multiple EPs. I think that would be really cool. And that's just me saying that as a fan.
Well said. I would love to see that. I think John would too.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, and to reiterate, like all the guys, Kelly Abe, DMC, Kyle Thomas is great. They're all great. But you're right. There's something about Karl and Mark Sunshine. They just, man, there is some magic there. And I would love to hear 5, 6
well songs. Who knows, maybe that happens someday.
Dave, you should ask. Maybe you should be the catalyst for such a just look in the camera, get close, and say, Dan, Johnny, for me
do
John.
5.
Go ahead,
do it for Johnny. Hey, by the way, you were mentioning names. I just want to say Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys on Curse My Name. Phenomenal. I thought love that song. That's my favorite on the entire album. Love it. So be remiss if we didn't mention them.
Yeah. The vocals on all these tracks, lend, each different singer brings his own flavor to the song, even with the same, core group of instrumentalists behind it. I mean, obviously the most standout in that regard would be Welcome to Hell Again with DMC, which is that's one of my standouts on the record. It brings a very different flavor to it. Frankie Diaz on Whiskey on My Mind, that blues singer is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that's another one of my standouts on the record. And more on that song. I recall when we talked with Dan and Johnny recently that Dan talked about, he doesn't consider himself a lead guitarist at all. Which is fine, great, but the lead on that is killer. And there's a lot of lead licks he plays on this album, and every time he would do something, I'd go, he needs to do more of that. Because I don't think he's given himself enough credit.
He's got the chops for sure.
Dan is certainly a talented guy, and it's interesting because sometimes the most talented people are also their worst critics. Like, you look in the mirror, I do the same thing. I look in the mirror like, what a piece of shit, and you guys are really good at being like, you're not really a piece of shit. And hopefully we're doing that for Dan. I think that, he's the press on this record has been really, really good, and people are digging it. And hopefully he's starting to feel the love and understand that he's got some chops, just like Johnny said on our previous podcast.
I mean, he said when he's in I said, your wheels are turning all the time. He said all the time. So maybe Dan does overthink stuff when he doesn't have to, so I'm sure that's a battle he probably has all the time when he's putting music together, the good and evil. So who knows,
I got to tell you, before I go, I thought was, it's a moody song, and I heard a really nice collision of Alice in Chains with Pantera around like a song like Floods, one of their slower songs. I thought that was a really, really great track. And
Karl
Karl
Agell,
shined
right? On vocals on that. Karl
Agell, yeah.
Agell, yeah. His voice was very soothing.
And Karl, I apologize. I don't know why. I've been a fan of yours since early 90s, the old COC shit. And for some reason, we keep fucking up your name. And it's called Shit Talk Reviews. So feel free to message us. Tell us what pieces of shit we are. Because honestly, we're pieces of shit. Like I was saying, I look in the mirror and I say, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit. Fucking fucked up your name. Dave fucked up your name. We're terrible journalists.
If I'm getting it wrong, I'm blaming it on Dan.
Yeah. We'll blame Dan. Yeah. That'll work.
Dan.
So,
but before I go, I love that. Like you said, it is kind of Alice in Chains. I hadn't made that comparison, but Dan does some great layered guitar stuff there in the verses, and it really does lend a lot to a great feel.
How about the beginning too? Go ahead, John. Sorry.
The beginning of what?
Oh, I was going to say the entry with the violin. I thought
Jonathan
was pretty
Eng.
cool.
I think it's Eng or Eng. Yeah.
I know Dan said when he was on last time, that was supposed to be an acoustic, and then he changed it to violin. Well, good thing he did, because it was just cool to listen to that, to set up the album a little bit. It was nice.
It was unexpected. That, and then Birth, the second to last track, with Dave Neabore on keys, which are just like subtly floating in the background there.
Right.
Very cool. It was unexpected. I like the stuff that Dan came up with on guitar. It's sparse, but it's just enough to lay a good foundation for the other. It's a cool little track. It was, like I said, unexpected, but I dig it. What about you, Derek? You got a standout? Did you already say? Was that
yeah, before I go, Heart of Spite. I like Low Price because Mark Sunshine is on it. Welcome to Hell Again is just it's got a little hardcore vibe, a little rapcore vibe, it took me back to the 90s a little bit there.
Typical DMC,
energetic, very energetic track, which I appreciate. And I really liked Birth a lot. And, it, with what I'm going through, it made me emotional. And I think that artists, when they create, whether they're painting or creating music or whatever they're doing, they want to spark an emotion with music. And because I'm in dire straits, Birth brought me to almost tears. But that's a good thing that Dan, you did your job.
Yeah, beautiful acoustic there.
Yeah. So it's well done.
So I think I think the song that Dan referred to in our chat with him last, where he said he was thinking about you, Derek, for writing a song that he was like, there's no way Derek is going to say this isn't heavy. That was Heart of Spite, was it not?
It was, yeah. I mean, this is, it's Dan, for you, doom metal, hard rock, some metal-ish tones, but again, I wake up during the day, I get up and I turn on Slayer, Power Trip, and Hypo Negative, which is goth and doom. But John, you're listening to Meshuggah, you're listening to some crazy heavy stuff. And so I think sometimes the doomier side of metal for me, I blend it in with rock sometimes and probably shouldn't. So Dan, that's on me. I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. You know what? You bring up a good point, because in comparison, like you said, I like some pretty heavy prog stuff. I can't stop listening to the Dolly Thundering Concept right now. Unbelievably good. They've got an album coming out sometime. It won't be soon enough. But so that's this crazy, super ultra progressive stuff. It's really involved. It's really intricate. And sometimes, like you're saying, Derek, when I want to get away from that, I might listen to something like Patriarchs in Black level of heavy. And that's not to say that it's not heavy. It's just relative to Slayer and the Dolly Thundering Concept and Humanity's Last Breath.
Right.
They're very far apart from one another. So it's easy to say like, oh, this stuff isn't heavy. Well, it's not heavy compared to Humanity's Last Breath. But Heart of Spite, I man, as soon as I heard that, I was like, this is the one Dan was thinking about. It had to be.
Yeah, it has some crowbar in there. Like it's crunchy, thundering, bazooka shit riffs, like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just
no.
crunchy and heavy.
I'm not the lyrics guy here, but the lyrics in that are great, and they're heavy and dark. There will be no what was it? There will be no answers from I think a frozen heart of spite. Holy shit!
Yeah,
Rob,
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I was thinking about you. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good album. Some cool stuff on there that I didn't expect. Dan made some guitar moves that I hadn't heard before, which I really liked. He did some cool palm muty stuff, and
can you because when I think of guitar moves, I think of like spinning the guitar around your back, or like taking the guitar and spinning around the stage, like
playing with your teeth.
So there's some people out there that might be like,
sure.
So Dan's in the studio, like, spinning the guitar around, like, making it, doing like some weird Steve Vai stuff from the 80s. Like, so what are you getting?
No, I'm talking about techniques he's using while playing, stylistic choices in how he plays the guitar, utilizing, like I said, things like he starts doing palm mutes, which is it kind of dulls the tone and gets a little chuggier. He threw that in the middle of Whiskey on My Mind, that blues track. And I was like, holy shit, Dan, this is fucking great. So he did stuff like that that I picked up throughout the record. And I was excited to hear that because, I too like to make a racket with a guitar on a very minimal talented level. So I'm always excited when I get to hear people do stuff that I really dig and like, oh, that's cool. I want to try and emulate that at some point,
You're a real piece of shit, John, by the way.
A real piece of shit.
Yeah. He's being very modest. Some of the music John creates in his home studio is fantastic. He just needs to, find somebody to sing on it. And you are much too modest about your endeavors. They're very, very good tracks.
You're very kind. I think that I'm such a fan of so many super, super incredibly talented musicians. As we all are. Anybody who's listening to this is going to be a fan of good musicians. And I think that anytime any level musician is trying to get better, they take from their influences and try and emulate them, and like, oh, that guy did something really cool. I want to be able to do that too. But along the way, I think a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. I enjoy writing the stuff I write, and thank you for saying that some of it's decent. I appreciate that. But it will, in my head, it will never be as good as the stuff, that other people, that when I buy the CD, like, oh no, it won't be that good. So I think it's easy to be, what's the phrase, self-effacing about it.
You and Dan are the same in that regard, I think. But, for those who don't know, the music coming in to Shit Talk Reviews and the music going out is John's music. So now the secret's out. So and nobody has complained about the music, the intro music or the music, the exit music, and it's for us. I mean, you and I picked it, and we thought it was perfect, and we think it is. And it's good. It's
I'll
good.
have to thank you, and I'll tell you, the fact that no one has complained about it is better than somebody saying it's good.
Hey, who are these fuckers that are playing this shitty music at the beginning of your podcast?
Listen, I could vouch for John, and I've known John over 3 years now. I play a little guitar, and we go into the studio. John is a very talented musician. He is very good. But John, I don't have to tell you that. I tell you that all the time.
Well, that's very kind, and this is, and it warms my heart to hear you guys say that. But today, let's wrap up what we're talking about record, because it's a good record. If you like the first record, if you're a fan of this flavor, you're gonna like this record. There's good stuff across it. It's a good mix. They chose great tones. Dan's rig, I know he runs with a pretty simple rig. It's dialed in. It sounds great. J-Rod did a great job of producing and mixing it. And it's a very enjoyable listen.
The chef's kiss. Visioning is a chef's kiss to Black Sabbath, but
well said.
Dan and team and Johnny, they make it their own.
Yeah. I loved it. I think it was, I really did. I enjoyed it. And you know what, Dan, he puts everything he has into his work, and he's passionate about it, and it's awesome. that we get to, listen to this music. Besides Gina, his wife, this is his life. He loves music. So good for fucking Dan, It's good shit. Just keep putting it out and we'll keep listening to it. Plain and simple.
To Dan.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time, guys.
All right.
Yes, we will.
You guys take it easy. Good times.
Peace. Yeah.